Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Reserve time. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Naga Siren.
Prepare for battle. "30 seconds to battle." The battle begins for good and all.
Xort, because a net into a Sunstrike could potentially give TongFu the killing potential they need to actually contest the lane if it was a tri-lane versus a tri-lane, but it's not going to be that. As soon as they saw the Chen, they say, okay, well, this is at least going to be a defensive Chen and a safe lane Morphling by Dreamtime, so we can get away with going Qualifiers because it's still really good against Morphling, and it's actually really good against a lot of the heroes on Dreamtime because they just don't have substantial base mana pools. So it could still be either, maybe Qualifiers slightly favored now, but it's still a bit odd to see a Null Talisman on a Qualifiers.
I mean, it's just good stats. It's never too bad. So
yeah,
they'll hold that if they want to go for it. Meanwhile, it looks like Skyfox, level 1 by Carapace. Not exactly sure how that was forced out, but he really wanted to impel if you could help it. But looks like he pulled to the left. Unfortunately, did not work out, and that will stack the camp. No, it looks like DreamU has locked it from.
I just want to know like how quickly Dreamtime are going to start pushing towers, because if you're in a position right now, if you're one off lane is a free heal for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you just go to that tower and you just punch it. You get a Ring of Bassi on Morphling. He's probably going to be going for a very early Aquila. Get your treads up and just kill it. You could even dive the Nyx very heavily with these heroes.
I think they know they could kill it every time. It's just how much experience you want to give up. Because right now, you can see that Skyfox is... Oh, I guess that's why you need that Spike Carapace to give him that mini-sun. Right now, they are going to get a little bit of experience. Wow, nice pull coming out from DreamU. That's actually going to deny a ton more experience. I always find that when you're pushing off lanes, like, hey, you want to give laner like 2-3 levels, especially we've been doing such a good job zone them out. Bright Fox gonna come around, get some of that EXP. Neutrals.
If you're able to get a handful of levels, it's still really tough though because their deep push is almost non-existent. They do have some decent push potential though because they're going to have mass serpent wards, but that's not until Kabu hits 6, which is some way down the road. So they're going to be relying on a very, very passive early game, and against a team with a Puck, a Centaur, and then a Chen, I don't know if they're going to get exactly what they're hoping for.
Yeah, and this Treant's actually taking that Invisor and going mid to gank, so he's not getting any experience. I'd rather at least have him get to level 2 so he could start living armoring, powers up. Even if it doesn't really do much, it helps a little bit, I suppose. Una in a minute picks up a boots first. Very interesting. So, you know, just giving a little bit of defensive capability against that Invoker. And speaking of that Invoker, he's just straight up farming, having the best time of his life.
He
right
doesn't
now.
have a Ghost Walk. That is a really scared Invoker to already just invoke Ghost Walk as soon as you get your second Invoke off cooldown. That's a little bit odd. But he is going to go Crosswax, which we talked about, like a different between the two builds, and I think it's still fun.
I mean, honestly, is he really gonna get a kill with any of the other of his spells?
No, probably not, but I guess when the opponent is bottle crowing mid, it doesn't really matter even if you spam Tornado EMP, because you'll run out of mana before he does, more or less.
Unless you bottle crow yourself. Meanwhile, the Centaur coming around to get a lot more experience, but he might run into a couple creeps here. In July, is gonna get shackled. No, Kabu. So just get the fuck away.
They can't kill them by themselves.
No.
They would need like outside assistance, and the Naga Siren even being there would still be kind of close.
Yeah. And they have to fall back onto since Una got this Qualifiers build. Correct me if you click on a Invoker as the enemy team, you will see what spell he has invoked, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Chen, if he's doing his homework, then being mid is not going to be the most successful endeavor, but they could just push top like you said, and they do have one of the better pushing creeps, Dark Scroll Summoner, and they do have 2 range creeps, a meat while gone, and that's it, right? Like this tower is dead unless they have force rotating, and you can see that Treant with haste, man. He's trucking it. He's going up top, or not?
But he just realizes all I can do is Witch Seed, maybe pull the creeps off the tower. They're gonna go die now, and he might be dead.
He is actually. Oh, there's a living. Oh, there's nothing to chase, so just driving him off of that experience range. Tower is gonna get soon punch on. They even drop a very, very preemptive Observer Ward in preparation when this tower does go down.
Tower is under attack.
That's gonna force Invoker to rotate. He's got that Tornado, but it's exactly his most impressive stage right now.
Super might be in trouble. Okay, never mind. The Invoker decided to just turn around and go back mid instead. Yeah, I mean, this is one thing that Crosswax Invoker can do that a External Invoker will basically never do, which is walk to another lane or TP to another lane most of the time. And it's really nice because you can kind of stop a push by just throwing out a Tornado EMP. I think that's probably the purpose of picking the Invoker just in this game, to give Naga the time that he needs before all the tier 1s are dead. But Dreamtime managed to secure a very quick tier 1 anyway, and it's an offlane tier 1, so sure, it's probably the least valuable tower actually in the entire game. Like, Radiant tier 1 offlane is the worst tower, but it still gives room for the AA to start getting what he wants, and it leaves Super to kind of farm or rotate mid if he wants. I don't know. It opens up more opportunities for Dreamtime to take advantages.
Yeah, normally when you have tier 1 going down with that, normally you'll see enemy just backing off in a jungle and farm, but Morphling and I guess Weaver is also one of those heroes that could just sit in the lane. Unless you see Invoker missing mid, I think he will be continue to do so, sit in the lane. And Bright Fox, he's just not having any really good recovery time. But with that said, he is level 4.5. Considering how poorly the early game has been for him, it's okay, I guess.
Well, when the enemy is pushing into you that heavily, and they don't really have a hard lockdown, Chen, even with a Dark Troll Warlord, it's not really enough to kill a Nyx. It means that he will be getting an inflated amount of experience compared to a lane that would just try to static it and just keep it, you know, locked so he couldn't get in range, which is good for him, but it's still like momentum that Dreamtime are getting out of being able to kill tower in the first place. So it's not to say that TongFu are necessarily in horrible shape, because their Naga Siren's still farming very well. Actually, it has the drums completed. No boots, but completed drums, and probably going to be going for like brown boots straight into Radiance, which is the kind of standard build. If he can make it to that point, Morphling is actually really bad against Naga Siren. So that's going to be kind of what TongFu are looking for, I think.
Do you say that because of the possibility of a Diffusal Blade, or do you say that just because I think the Morphling is okay against the Naga. So
It's not necessarily just about the Fusel Blade, it's about the innate lack of like push potential that Morphling has. Like sure he has one form of clearing the wave, but it's on an 11-second cooldown, and it costs quite a bit of mana. Like 165 mana for a spam nuke is pretty hefty, so until you get a Linken's up and maybe another item that gives you some stats, your mana is going to be lacking unless you're like Lava Crowing, which I guess XTD is kind of doing right now. And then you have this problem of your lanes being constantly pushed. We're going to see and you go up, and then here's a good his mana, but he should be fine because he's got in.
Yeah, he's going to walk off. The 2 supports bottom lane. First blood again. Looks like in July will be up. He dies a result. He's walking up. Kabu using his wards to the left, trying to get that range up. Nice little juke into the trees here. In July, it's going to be fine. And I don't think he's going to go back. Yeah, Franker Boot's pretty OP. But I think everybody from both teams committed to that kill. XTD is going to go back to the top lane and continue to farm away. I do want to point out that I'm a big fan of getting a bottle on Morphling, especially when you have a Chen on your team. Because every time you have the Chen to send you back, it's practically free. Because you could just bottle charge the Chen as your bottle's filled up and coming back in lane. Obviously using Replicate as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice hero to be able to just keep the mana pool a little bit higher, but the Morphling Naga matchup is really interesting to me because if Morphling gets ahead, it should be fairly easy for him to stay ahead, but if the Naga Siren ever gets to a stage where he can start just pushing out the lanes, Dreamtime actually don't have the greatest heroes at dealing with a really farm Naga.
No.
So your Chen, your AA, even the Puck to a certain extent are going to suffer really badly from a Radiance Naga. Like even to the point where I think we saw it when Black was playing for CIS and he played Naga against another team that had Puck and a couple of other squishy heroes. He basically single-handedly kept them in the game. And sure, you farm the entire map as a Naga, but the capability is there to essentially 1v5. So if TongFu can hold it, man, it'd be pretty good.
I mean, so I imagine they have to hold till like 18 to 20 minutes without falling very, very far behind. Because at this point, Shalov on the bottom lane has already got, or Shalu has already got 1,000 of that 3,800 more on top lane. Looks like they're gonna make a go. EMP Tornado's gonna whiff. XCD will come back.
I think just keeping your tier 1s alive or trying to keep any tower alive that you possibly can as long as you can is what Naga needs the most. Because what most Naga players will do is they'll try to farm the most dangerous spots on the map and they'll just send their illusions to the opponent jungle to take away farm from them. Like that's, in my opinion, the proper way to play it because it's very easy to farm your own woods, but by taking farm away from the other team as well, you're kind of forcing them to want to pressure you. And when you have a Radiance, you have the capability of doing that, even if you're not having the tankiest of illusions at that stage in the game. And that allows the other heroes in your team to farm the safer areas while Dreamtime are going to be busy dealing with illusions and trying to keep the lanes pushed. So if you can get to that stage, I think TongFu would have some recovery potential.
So my question is, as we see a smoke gang coming out from DT trying to pick that Naga, what's actually stopping DT from just saying, we're going to go into Roshan with the Chen creeps and just straight up kill the Rosh? Looks like you see a little engagement. Ice Blast is going to hit and they will pick a tree, but that's not exactly the intended kill that DT had in mind. But you're saying that, you know, TongFu needs to just defend, but I think DT could take other map objectives like Roshan. And I guess they could throw an EMP Tornado and possibly even challenge it with a Naga Song, but I'm not even sure whether TongFu will do that.
They can, but it's so hard to do, right? Like timing the Naga Siren song perfectly to make sure that you can get in and steal the Rosh, which is probably the safer of two methods. The other one is letting the other team kill it and then trying to time your song, which is even harder.
Ooh,
Courier.
One more hit!
Oh, the attack range on Morphling so
Man,
bad.
if he just Agimorphed during that wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the question is, I think DT could just take free Aegis.
They might be able to. Oh, bottom lane.
Yeah, so it's going to come down. The Ice Blast will hit actually on 2 heroes. Scryfox being focused upon, but he'll be able to walk that one off.
That's coiled down as well as Ice Blast, so they're not going to be able to push into this tower. And honestly, that in itself is a win for TongFu. The fact that Dreamtime just committed, what, 3 heroes, an Ice Blast, and trying to get a pick so they could push another tower, and didn't manage to do so. Sure, XTD's farming right now, but the Naga Siren had a huge jungle stack that she just took a little while ago, and she can just go back to the woods and continue farming more or less wherever she wants, because the mid tier 1 is still in full health, and the mid tier 1, or the bottom tier 1 is still healthy too, so it's still going to be a while before those towers go down, and I'm thinking right now, if I'm Dreamtime, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Like, they want to be able to take away a bit more from TongFu, and getting a step in the right direction is In July being very, very close to his Blink Dagger.
Meanwhile, XCD having a... I think he actually maybe bought the Sentry Ward himself. No, Super bought it for him. He's put it in the lane. And that's going to be good in protecting himself. He actually is playing ultra aggressive despite not having a replicate up. He knows he's really not going to die. Unless, again, Invoker is missing from the mid lane. And they do see Invoker walking up top, going for a haste rune, so time to back it off a little bit for XTD. Meanwhile, his bottom lane is continued pressure on bottom tower. And here comes the initiation. Now blinking forward, and Puck is orbing out, but there is a tornado, so they can actually pick him up. No phase. Oh, he gets hexed. He's dead. Shaco's going to come through. Ice Blast will hurt a little bit, but nothing really to write home about.
And this is going to start becoming more and more of an issue is...
Uh-oh. That's a kill. Nicely done.
XDD just solo kills the Nyx, okay. That's something that shouldn't really be allowed to happen.
I'm going to just say that the Chinese Morphling, it is really the Chinese Morphling because we see a lot of other Chinese players do this. They do it better than any other team slash player I've ever seen. Like, when they push down tier 1 tower in the opportune lineup where you're not going to get ganked, they always do this. They just sit in front of your tier 2 and constantly hammer at it. It either force you to have 1 or 2 heroes defending it and not really get much farm, because the killing potential of a Morphling is always there. So meanwhile, looks like on the bottom lane, they're going to jump through a Mass Serpent Ward. I'm not sure whether I like that choice. They are going to find a tree, that's 1 kill, but they are going to lose a tier 1 tower to Kabu's Mass Serpent Wards. They should farm these wards up. Invoker walking forward, no EMP to follow through. In July blinks afterwards. Man, both teams are just committing and recommitting. U9 very low. The waveform coming in gets a double kill from XCD. They see Scryfox as well. More Sentry Ward being dropped down. XCD chasing through the Sentry because he has the backup from the Puck. Scryfox out of mana at this point. He has to wait for him 1 second. He will use it and come in, and Scryfox is going to go down as well. Pressure is there from XCD.
That was a disastrous fight. Like,
the Radiant should really do something about that middle tower.
So you start off by trading tier 1 for a tier 2. Okay, tier 2 off lane, if you're TongFu, not really such a big deal. You can just put somebody up there and continually farm the lane. It's not that bad. You commit Mass Serpent Wards to a tower that's at 10% HP. Okay. Probably overkill, but that's still fine. Chasing into a tier 2 tower against heroes that really aren't even that valuable to kill, like an AA. Like, XTD was top, right? And he had a TP scroll the whole time. And just taking a fight in that map was so bad. And Kabu made it super dead. Bang. Oh, he might actually live.
EMP Tornado feeling Kabu. Here, and Kabu says, I'm dead, let me throw a Shaco. Puck's going to come in an orb, and he's actually going to jump to the left side. Yeah, this team at this point in the game is just not really equipped to fight because they just have no damage, and really there's no reason to fight. Here comes the Morphling, the right click is going to come through. Look at Air, man, he's just really behind enemy lines. And it just goes back to what you're saying, just keep defending until your Naga comes back alive with the Radiance. That's it, that's all they need to defend to. But this push coming out from DT is super scary.
I mean, it seems like it's almost a master now. That's really nice. What ends up happening is that the team's really confident because the game was actually
Radiant's middle tower
very well.
is normal.
Like, sure, they will kill here and there, but they weren't playing outside of what their team's meant to do. Still, more or less just going for defense. They were letting the Naga get the farm that she needed. And I mean, Zhao Love has a relic now, which is really good. 15-minute relic and drunk. It's insane farm. Like, he's doing very, very well. But they just took a team fight that they didn't need to take. And they ended up getting punished incredibly hard for it. And because of that momentum, Dreamtime were able to take another fight in succession and kill the tier 1 mid, which is one of the big priorities that TongFu has.
We're seeing a 5,000 goal here for DT and experience fairly similar. And the key thing is, at a certain point, we're going to see a shot coming out from Morphling. Or do you think he's going to just go for like Lincoln straight to Manta and forget about the shotgun?
I think shotgun is still very effective in these styles of lineup because if the Shadow Shaman is forced to play defensive, which I'm assuming Kabu is going to have to do, more or less, is Mass Serpent Wards are very annoying to push into, and having the capability of instantly taking a hero out of the fight is really nice. Even heroes like Invoker who don't have the greatest base health pool. And speaking of, we got a double smoke here on top.
I'm not sure whether they can kill him. He's extremely tanky. The wave back. Tornado is going to pick him up. EMP on top. They need a... Oh, they're close snap. But Stampy's going to get him out of there. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane here, they're looking for a little fight. They will see the tree, but it's going to go on Xiaolu. If he dies here, and in fact he does, my goodness, that's going to send him back so much. He has Song, but was he Raining Rift? I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was silenced. And plus, he got blown up. Like, even though the double edge didn't hit him, he still died extremely fast. But
Yep.
I mean, that death hurts, but it's not horrible because the relic was already purchased. He didn't lose that much. He basically just lost some money towards the recipes. But Dreamtime now going for Roshan. They realize they have an advantage. They want to make it a bit bigger. The nice thing about killing Roshan right now is that unlike just pushing into a tier 2 mid or a tier 2 bottom, which is very difficult, they still have a free tower to take bottom. So whatever lead that Dreamtime has by taking this Roshan, it's going to be extended by the fact that they can very easily just go push a tier 1.
Obviously, they also won't have to deal with Naga by taking the Roshan right now. Good kill in the mid lane. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. You are going to see perhaps the latest a 19 to 20 minute radiance. In fact, looks like Naga just spent a bit of a gold. Did on the courier.
Probably bought a TP or something.
She had 800 or something.
No. She had like 1 or 2 something when she died.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just clicked on the wrong hero. But yeah, she's gonna find the radiance eventually. My problem is, what is he gaining out of it before that, right? Because that was a Roshan. Now we're gonna see another tower, like you said, and I don't think they could be stopped if they go for a tier 2 even, because the Shen army is actually pretty scary still at this point.
The Shen creeps definitely are scary, but I think that TongFu are realizing we don't really want to fight anymore. We made a mistake, we're not going to make that mistake twice. We're just going to go for trades. They can maybe drop some wards in the tier 1 mid, apply some pressure there, but they're still a glyph, so I don't think that Dreamtime's going to give up their tower. They might go for a kill.
Jeez, Red Fox gonna get blasted, ice blasted. Not even necessary. Meanwhile, Eric, a little bit of trouble, but he has space. He's gonna get Force Staff into a Hex Shackle, but do they have enough damage to actually straight up kill him? He phased, he silenced, he orbs, he gets 1 kill with a Dagon before he actually dies. Eric is actually playing out of his mind. I am impressed, like you said. Meanwhile, Morphling, if you look at him, man, forcing out Glyph on the bottom, he has wait for him. In fact, he will even against Xiaolu and force him away. Lincoln's Fair is on, so he's just not afraid of really anything.
He's got full agility, man. He's got 1 strength right now. That's how not scared he is.
It's a treant.
Oh, and by the way, the tier 1 did end up going down in middle lane, so TongFu got that. And plus, Jalov got the last hit on the tower. So he got it with illusions.
Oh, wow.
Over Mass Serpent Wards.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yep.
So he's that much closer to his Radiance now. And once the item's completed, like, it seems very difficult for TongFu now, but that item actually changes the game. Like, getting a Radiance on Naga Siren in this style of a game is going to make like all the difference in the world, just in terms of being able to keep lanes a little bit more pushed out. Because if you look at the map right now, have done an excellent job of making sure that all the lanes are basically pushed past the river. Like you're talking about XTD, and every single time we see him, he's kind of like hitting a tier 2 tower. That's an amazing advantage to have, because it's always a lane that TongFu aren't going to be able to just get something out of if they win a fight there, or even if they manage to kill XTD. It's almost like time investment and wasted, because you have to kill a hero that's sitting outside of your base, instead of being able to walk on a Dreamtime side of the map and kill it yourself.
Yep. I would say that once the Radiance comes online, DT still has a bit of time. It's until that Naga Illusions gets so tanky that you can't even deal with them anymore. But yeah, it's nice to have a wave illusion that could rip Tide, and then the enemy wave is down to about half HP instantly. So DT looks like they're gonna wait for a smoke, and they will use it right then and there. Where's the Morphling? Morphling's actually gonna find a haste room from the top lane, so that's gonna be nice. He also sold his bottle, I think. So Bottle has bought early, been sold early. Master Servant will be dropped to farm the Ancients. This is key stuff.
Yeah, but he messed it up, so they're gonna die.
Need to put a little bit further away.
And now he's dead.
Empty Tornado's gonna come. Yeah, Kabu's dead. But it's gonna drain a ton of mana, which is nice. Again, you just want to hold this tier 2, and I think they actually might be able to do it.
That's not gonna hold.
Okay, never mind.
Well, without Mass Servant Wards, it's pretty much no way they're holding it. The thing is, I think that TongFu really had a solid chance of being able to win this game, even until about minutes ago, but they just keep making mistakes. Like, this isn't a game that was won or lost by the draft or the laning phase. I actually thought that TongFu had a much better opportunity this game to win with their draft than they did in game number 1. But Dreamtime are just straight up finding everything that they need, outplaying everywhere. So, I don't know. Getting outmaneuvered on the map is definitely another concern. Like, that fight bottom, if I had to pinpoint like where I think that TongFu just gave up way too much, it would have been that bottom fight.
Yeah, I agree. The other thing to point out is that DT has this kind of death ball push. They're not looking to chip away at towers. Looking to push the tower from 100 to 0, which if you're playing a Treant, you're pretty sad, because a big part of your job is to keep towers alive, and you really can't do that against a big death push.
Yeah.
EMP Tornado hitting round up top. They are gonna break the link. It's XCD out of mana at this point. He has a he has Aegis, so he doesn't really care. Meanwhile, it looks like a Funny Coil gets dropped on the ground. They are gonna get Skyfox.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's nice. Are they gonna get Skyfox?
Yeah, they're gonna get.
I see that.
I even like the air phase shift that his auto attack, and bottom lane they're going as well. So I'm gonna be popped, but they managed to kill the Naga Siren. So
Beam attack.
Siren down, not great.
Yeah, I feel that if we just had a little better coordination, this would
Dire's middle
have been
tower
a
is under attack.
massively different game for TongFu.
I just think that TongFu lost track of what their team was actually supposed to do.
Dire's middle tower
Because the
is under
Qualifiers
attack.
Invoker is incredibly good at
It has no arms
stopping
to defend
pushes. A
itself.
Treant is really nice after you stop the push to keep your towers alive, and then you have Mass Serpent Wards for when you decide to actually coordinate something or defend under a tower. Fighting into a tower and Mass Serpent Wards is very, very scary. And then you have a Nyx who adds a little bit of control and maybe some scouting potential to find the pushes before they get there. So I thought it was like a really nice team, a really solid draft, just not executed nearly as well as I think they wanted to.
Yeah. And they've been trying to find a lot of ganks. Unfortunately, the Morphling at this point very impervious to ganks, as we saw earlier. Hawk hard kill as well. So I think it's going to be difficult for TongFu to mount and come back. Again, they do have a Naga, so if she gets tanky enough, I hope she's not going for a BLT. BLT generally is the secondary item of choice for Naga to just apply the global pressure. I just think she should just pick up a value vid booster at this point and hope that doesn't get her too far behind. Or if you're a little bit greedy, then go for the ultimate orb. Just get stats, get HP.
He might still go boss, to be honest, because the problem that they're gonna have is that since they're so scared right now, when they see an opportunity to push lane, because maybe like Dreamtime show up like top, for example, you want to be able to get to the lane immediately. Because if they're depushing a lane from a tier 1, even if you block to a creep wave in another lane, you're going to have more than enough time to kill that, farm the entire jungle, and get back to base before Dreamtime are able to get to your base. Or be able to crack it at least.
Okay.
So, like, the boot to travel dynamic is so much different with Naga Siren than it is most heroes. Like, I think of it almost as a tinker, right? Like, if you don't have bots, you're never going to be able to get your way back into the game in terms of quick pushing enough. So, I mean, he might skip it. He might decide to go for like a vitality booster or an ultimate orb, like you were saying, just to be able to defend the base a bit better. But Naga Siren's not a hero who wants to defend the base. It's a hero who wants to keep the lanes pushed so you don't get to the base. Yeah,
and unfortunately DT is right in front of their base. It is 4 HP thanks to Tree and Protector, but not for long, because DT is coming with 2 Centaurs, one of the backup hero, and then Wild Ripper. EMP Tornado, not going to hit on anything. I think the push will begin now for DT.
Well, E-Blade on XDD pretty much means that if he sees anyone, they're just going to get exploded.
Radiant's middle tower
There is
is under
that
attack.
Master Boarding drop. DT will say, alright, we'll come back for that later. And if you look at Shalu, he's already halfway towards that tier 2. So that's kind of what we're talking about. He does have that teleport scroll. Ice Blast for the top. Gonna hit a remainder of that. Meanwhile, looks like a... Oh no, I thought Stampede was you. They did find a huge HP stack though, of Radiant side, so DT will clean that one out. And continue to apply pressure on the top lane. DT's managing this game fairly well with the lead that they have. They're never allowing Naga to do too much structural damage. Naga is getting a little bit of room though. U9 coming out of his base with a gem. Trying to get a little bit of D-ward action, but he's got to be very careful.
The problem that I think the Naga Siren is having right now is the fact that the supports on the side of Dreamtime actually have so much in terms of survivability. Like, they're going to have a mech and a pipe soon. Mech is already finished, and July is, what, like 600, 700 gold away from the full pipe. And the AA has an Axe. So, no one really suffers too much from the Radiance burn right now.
Oh, U9, I think he actually missed Q one of his spells here. He has to go invis, but there is a gem available, and that gem is going to go against U9. U9 dead. He drops his own gem. If they see it.
I don't think they saw it.
Man, that Invoker Death animation has such glow. Meanwhile, looks like Naga just got shotgunned.
Well, that gun pretty strong. The irony is that he was farming a spot on the map that was on his side of the jungle.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm totally set, I'm dead. And that's another reason why I think that boss is really good, because in this case, I think you should have just been with his team. Like, you leave illusions there, and you like try to push out bottom, push out with illusions, but you TP top with your team, and then you try to take tier 1. So
The Dire's top
I don't
tower
know,
is
man.
doing its
Dreamtime
best,
just
but it doesn't look good.
on
Radiant's
another
bottom
level,
tower is
basically.
under
Like, from
attack.
watching the last 2
I feel
games,
fortification in place.
the first game you could argue that it was a kind of a drafting error from TongFu, and that they weren't really able to contest the lane in the way that they wanted to against Dreamtime. But this game is just, they're getting slaughtered.
Yeah, they are. And you see that Era is doing a lot of that slaughtering. And the backline overgrowth hits only Era, which does not matter at all.
It's been said too, by the way.
Wow.
I think.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
The damage prevention, yeah, looks like it's gonna go through.
No, he's dead.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Okay. Miracle song's gonna come in the first of the game. Okay, I mean,
Yeah, if anything hits on the centaur.
it doesn't matter. They don't have any damage. Yeah.
GG.
All right, we have DT moving on, and TongFu ends a run. A fairly good one at that. But now the 3 team remains: a CIS, Dreamtime, and of course OGD. That looks like a freaking unstoppable giant.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if anybody's going to beat LGD for the first place spot. So to me, it's going to be more or less just a fight for the wild card.
Okay.
Which, if you think about it, the other wild card teams, if you're CIS or Dreamtime, I feel pretty confident that you could make it in the wild card spot. Like, we don't know what team's going to be coming out of the European qualifiers yet, but still, like, Dreamtime and CIS are solid teams.
Yep.
It's just that LGD are LGD.